Wow, a lot of dropping here. Yeah, and we're back again.
Yep.
All right, it's Ideas on Fire podcast, where your ideas get
Lit up.
All right, and here with us today is none other than DC Okoli, the co-founder and CEO of Dropper.
DC, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
DC, just start by telling us something about yourself that nobody else knows about. This is your secret. Your mama doesn't know about it.
You never experienced it.
I actually never expected it. Because I'm an open book, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to.
Yeah.
However, what people do not necessarily know, or a lot of people don't, not necessarily, is that I love to study hard. Right? I appear very playful or very jovial, but when I was one of those kids in school that play throughout during classes.
Okay.
And then after classes, I would just,
Hey. You're scamming us.
Yes.
My Lord.
Scammers is
I had a few of them.
Study, and people would always guess, they would like, wait, how are you leading in this stuff?
No, that's interesting. I knew some folks like that who go play football after lectures till like 7 o'clock in the night. Is actually the dark that will chase us back to the hostel. And by 9 o'clock they are going back into campus
in ninth class
to go and read till like 2 a.m.
Yes.
You were the ninth class folk.
Yes, I was.
Oh, wow.
It was a thing of joy because I wasn't doing it to scam people per se. It's just that the ninth time was usually like a time of solitude for me, right? So in the daytime, I just feel like having fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
The night caller.
So tell me about what your early life was like, because we're having a snippet to your university life, right?
Yes.
But before you became CEO co-founder, right, I want to have a mental picture of what you were doing before the idea of Dropper dropped into your head.
Nice. So, I dropped out of school.
Wow, a lot of dropping here.
So I've been dropping before Dropper.
No, let's get real. Let's get real.
Okay.
What were you studying? Which school?
Yes.
Oh, so I dropped out of University of Greenwich in London.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Plot twist.
No. So why?
Yes.
So I was just in school one time and I was called from home. Then my dad wanted to see me.
Okay.
And I asked to speak with him. And they said he couldn't talk. He was actually down. He just wanted to see me. So to cut the long story short, I lost him in my arms.
Wow.
And that was how
Sorry
he was
to
my
hear
closest friend. It was difficult for me to cope with that. So that was how I stopped school.
Give me a picture of that relationship. What was that relationship like?
First of all, my dad looked for a child for 7 years.
Okay.
And you were that child.
And no, my elder sister was.
Okay.
But then there's this thing about Igbo men and their son.
Their son.
So after
Are you
looking
the
for a
only
child
one?
No, my brother finally came.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My co-founder.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. After looking for the only child for like 7 years and finally having a son, there's this special
Glory.
bond.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up having friends. Unlike normal guys who go out there and have fellow guys. No, my father was my friend.
Your father was your G.
Yeah, like literally my G, right? Like he would go to work, he would take me with him, right? He would a lot of things about life I really learned it from him doing it. For example, things like one of my sisters got me super angry one time.
For you to use super.
like
imagine.
I would actually go into that story. My dad bought me a brand new laptop, HP. The new laptops that you can turn when it came out, the HP you can actually turn, right?
Yeah,
the screen
fancy, fancy stuff.
And I just got it, and I decided to go, I think, pick my food or something, and my sister carried it into the bedroom. I was looking for it, right? So she didn't want me to suspect her. So she wasn't close to the water.
Yeah.
She just you know, the
Put
bedroom
on
is
the-
the bedroom is quite big, right? So
Yes.
she just put it on.
Yes.
So I asked her, "What are you doing there?" She was taking her bath. So
Yeah.
essentially, I was still looking for my
Okay,
laptop.
it
So
was
when I now
just a
realized
prank.
that she was the one with it, I actually got crazy. I was like, "They just bought me this stuff, blah blah," you know, and
Okay. Like,
and so I got super angry. So when she was coming out,
I love her already.
funny enough, she's a software engineer now. You know, when
interesting.
she
Shout
was
out,
coming
shout out to her.
shout out to Laura.
Shout out to Laura.
So when she was coming out from the bathroom, you know, that was me, first time ever in my life, I was raising my hand to hit her. And my dad was like, hello, you want to hit a woman in my house? And I'm like, no. He's like, have you ever seen that happen? I'm like, no. He says, so why do you want to hit a woman? I'm like, Daddy, look, I was trying to justify it.
Yeah.
He broke the laptop.
Ah.
I thought it was going to come from your sister, but wow. Plot
Lucky
twist.
her. Lucky Laura.
Okay.
He broke it because the way the laptop was smashed was exactly the way I also fell on the floor. Because that was just a dream come true for me just a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
But then he bought it after a week again.
Wow.
And then
Trying
I
to
was
teach
like,
you a lesson.
I already love your dad.
Then I
Yeah.
was like, this is just crazy. Like, you just
Yeah.
spent so much money.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But what I didn't know was that
The value.
what he wanted to teach me was above any amount he could possibly spend at the time.
Yeah.
So he was so much interested in impacting value to me that he did not consider any price too much
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
pay for that value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, till today, I have never dreamt of when I raised my hand.
But you're not
anybody.
married.
He's
No, but I'm actually married.
Nice. Shout out to Mrs.
kids.
I mean,
Mrs.
shout out my
Okoli.
beautiful wife.
Shout out to Miss
Favor.
Okoli.
yes.
Shout out to Favor.
So
Yeah. So I actually wanted to say that I actually think I see where you get some of your values from, because I think your dad was a man of principles.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
The principle was both tough and it was sweet and tough.
Yeah, sometimes it
course.
comes
Oh,
off
absolutely.
like that.
Yeah.
African
It's like
parents.
tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was more than an African parent.
Okay.
It was more like he was preparing me for
Life.
life. Made me understand something called grooming a man.
Grooming.
Just like princes, like men are meant to be groomed,
I love
right? He considered a man that is not groomed an animal, right? So the only difference between an animal, a wild animal, and a man,
Civilized animal.
yes, was how
Animal
well
is the grooming, yes.
the man was groomed.
Groomed.
Because grooming a man, he groomed it with the focus of leadership, with the focus of being able to be patient. You know,
Yes.
he was
To be a
very
protector.
intentional.
To be a
I could tell
provider.
you some of the values that I still have. Exactly the moment my dad,
No, taught them.
impacted that.
Okay. Okay. Oh, he was intentional.
So he was
Yeah.
super intentional. So that's how I grew up with that friendship, because it was both hot and cold. Right?
Yeah. Sad to hear that he's gone.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I mean, the moment he left, it was like I was already ready when I wasn't actually ready. Does that make sense? Because because he spent
All
most of
that-
his life.
Yeah.
all that he trained
Yeah.
you for, you were able to take it on as soon
Yeah.
as he
Amazing,
left.
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But that I think that's part of what led you to drop out. Okay.
Yeah. So after that moment,
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I decided that I wasn't even in the right mental space.
Okay.
And one morning I was like, you know what? I need to leave this house. Everything smells like him.
Okay.
So,
yes.
so I was like, I was going to choose somewhere that nobody knows about me. I was going to go to somewhere nobody knows about him as well. You know,
So they don't
he
remind you.
Yes, I just
Yes.
wanted to start a new life, and the only place that came to mind was Calabar. Right. So
Interesting.
the
And
next
you
morning
were moving from where to Calabar?
from Aba in Abia State.
Okay, okay.
So the next morning, which was like 7 hours, as of then, I think 5 to 7 hours drive.
Yeah.
So I woke up the next morning. I told my mom, "I want to leave."
How old were you at this point?
19.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting guests we've had so far. Okay.
And she was like, "Leave to where?" I'm like, "I just feel like I want to go to Calabar."
Interesting.
But interestingly, like, there's something I've done that I've sort of like made my mom feel like I'm a very strong guy, right? And one of the things is like I took my dad to the mortuary.
Single-handedly.
Yes, I just got a friend of mine, and I took him to the mortuary, right? So my mom already felt that this guy is trying to be a man kind of thing, you know. And before that, I've already started showing some traits that I wasn't like. You don't just see me around ladies, you know. Women consider their son to be a good son when they don't see them, you know, walking around the streets. I'm telling you, like, you know, messing around and you know, joining street guys and you know, playing with different women and different guys so that's what my mother like. I mean, I didn't have those traits, so she had this trust in me. Right, she knew I was not saying I was going to Calabar to go and you know,
because I mean that happens. That happens in
join bike gangs.
There's a lot of waste in Calabar.
Exactly, that will waste you.
You get Calabar of all places. At the end of the day, so she let me go, which was something I still considered a tough decision. But it's if I dial back to how my dad raised me, you would see more reason why she let me go. Because in JSS3 after school, my dad gave me Millionaire to start business.
Wow.
Instead of going to do internship, and I ran that business down. Trust me, like.
I love it. I love it. Trust me.
Like I ran it so down.
How old were you at that
Just
point?
3 is like 13 now.
13.
Yes, no. Jesus Christ.
To see how intentional he was. Like after like just 3 was like, what do you want to do? No, Dad, I want to start business. Like what business? So I want to start meat pie business. It's going to be called Rich Pie.
Love
Pie.
Because it is rich. It's meat pie, but that is rich.
Okay.
So I came up with the name Rich Pie, right? I was like, Rich Pie sounds interesting.
It does.
Give me business plan. I already had like internet in my room then. I downloaded. That was the first time I heard about business plan. You know, I came up with something. We came up with a forecast. This is how much I'm going to make. This was 13, by the way, and I gave him the business plan. He was like, okay, we have a property in somewhere. Is that place a good site? Like perfect site. He was like, okay, go there, take it. Do you need any other money? I said, yeah, Daddy, there's money to save over.
Yes,
he said, okay, I'll give your mom the money. Any amount you need, go and collect it from her. She will not ask you any question. She will just be giving it to you. Right? Wow. She wouldn't ask you any question.
Oh wow. I think they should create a course from what your dad gives to you, because most guys don't have that.
Was he a businessman? I'm trying to
he was a businessman. He was an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I went ahead, and the crazy thing was this. I spent 80% of that 1 million naira investing on branding. You know, I even bought then this tricycle came out, kicking a pep. I bought it, branded it to Rich Pie, everything, did logo, you know, Rich Pie, you know.
Oh my God.
Where is the Rich Pie in all of this? Like the actual meat pie?
See, guess what? I'm coming, right? So I did the Rich Pie and all that stuff, right? And then I employed 2 people that don't even know how to. They don't even know what flour is. Really. Like
this is how to not.
And guess what? I've never baked in my life before either.
My days.
So we got to the 9th of the first production. We've already advertised to the streets with the flyers and stuff that, you know, they should come for money. There would be like amazing quality Rich Pie and blah blah blah. And that 9th, because we had to do production at 9th against the money. We started browsing on Google on how to make Rich Pie.
God, I feel like this is like a good example of how some people run business.
So true.
That night we started browsing.
Before they figure out the product, they've already sold, and they have people on the waiting list.
Oh my Lord!
That was actually the night we started browsing on Google. And the only idea I had in mind is anything we see here, double it, because this is Rich Pie.
No time, no.
So 2 teaspoons of baking powder, put 4.
Just double.
It's Rich Pie. It has to be rich.
I'm weak.
Right? 1 kg of chicken. 1 kg of chicken.
You get like I literally like everything double, because this is Rich Pie.
I love it.
So before morning,
sounds like a 13-year-old.
13-year-old mentality.
Before morning, we had Rich Pies, meat pies as the size of bread, because we put a lot of baking powder, right? and to a point that it lost its shape of meat pie because it was literally so big. It came out so big from
Burger.
like literally worse than burger. Trust me, because it's like and guess what? The stuff inside the sauce or whatever it's called
cooked properly.
Not just that it wasn't cooked properly. It was now so little inside because the entire bread suppressed. It was a mess, right? And I had browsed on Google about coloring, right? So and I didn't know the effect of coloring too. So I mixed up some coloring and I just rubbed on top of it so it can be shiny. I didn't know that is actually like what egg would normally do.
Yeah.
So I just colored it and then it came out red meat pie, literally red. I kid you not, like the meat pie actually came out pure red.
Okoli invented a new genre of pie.
And it would have sold well.
It would have sold out.
Red.
Yeah.
You know,
But
Valentine's
maybe
red.
wrong place.
See, like it was crazy, right? Because in the morning, trust me, when I say we did publicity,
Wow.
people gathered.
There was a line. My Lord.
People gathered. And guess what? It was the craziest thing because I had to suck it up and come out and start sharing the meat pie. Yes, now, do you want me to lose money?
Jesus.
I came out
Some people actually drop their money.
Jesus.
to support this boy.
To support the boy.
You have to support this boy.
Hi.
But one thing I never saw someone eating it. But
But they paid their money, that's what matters.
but guess what? Like at some point, but they will never come back. I mean, that's just to support it for day one.
Yeah, it's not.
So we made our money for
It's
first
not
day,
a
right?
business.
Lemonade.
We didn't
It's
even
not a
sell
business.
all
It's
because
an
normally
event.
people that
It's
should
not
buy
a business.
4 bought like 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't sell all. I didn't even realize what the problem was then.
How could you?
I
More
kept screaming.
publicity.
If at some point our money finished, so much so.
I mean, you already
like,
used 80%.
Do you understand? Like,
Before the first
at the end of the day, we just
production
had money for like 1 or 2 bags of flour.
Yep.
Like the actual production ingredient, we didn't even have enough money for it.
Yep.
Right. So as a matter of fact, I even had to use. Oh God.
Lord have
Like
mercy.
to even clear off the remaining debt, it was so crazy. Right?
There was death.
Yes, now.
Oh my word.
Didn't I just say I employed people? so I employed 2 people.
So in all of this, I want to know what your dad said.
Oh, beautiful! Because
Oh,
first of all,
absolutely, we're getting there.
he acted like he doesn't know what was going on. I never knew that he actually sent like 3 people to come and buy meat pie for him.
I love it.
Right?
I love
So
it. I love it. Oh no!
Like each day I
No,
open,
your dad deserves
each day I
a
open
school
up,
to be
right?
opened with his name.
Even if he's not around, he would tell people to go and buy someone to go and buy a meat pie and keep for him.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't know he was tasting all my meat pies.
Like Jesus. It's like either my son is
Like-
inventing meat pie,
like,
or Lord have mercy.
Like at the end of the day, my mom was telling me that the first meat pie, that my dad saw it and fell to the ground in his room. Like, my dad saw it and he was like,
what kind of meat pie is this?
what is
kind of-
this? Like, he was like, he asked my mom 3 times, what did you say this is? Like, my mom was literally, so that was his reaction. But I didn't know all this. Like, whenever he sees me, be like, how is it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm like, Daddy, like, we are doing great.
I feel like
I love it.
I feel like these are critical moments
Absolutely.
on your business journey.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
all of these points. I mean, I
Yes.
can see pointers.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
the kind of person you are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I want us to segue into dropper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so where were you when you thought about the concept of dropper? What
Yes.
did it look like then? And how did you come about,
What it is now.
doing whatever you did to get to where you are right now?
Yeah. I mean, again, because of the courage I had from my dad,
Yep.
and the fact that even after the whole meat pie stuff, he called me back and his question was, what did you learn from it?
Yeah.
And I recall that I told him that, the biggest thing I learned was you should have something valuable before you start speaking about it. You don't promote something that is empty. You don't promote. Yeah, and that's exactly one of my core today. I find it difficult to make noise of something that is not there already. Right? I rather go in, learn how to produce meat pie, be an expert in production of meat pie, and with little noise, it will go far because
Start with family and friends.
Yeah,
Test it.
it will really go far
Perfect it,
because
yes.
good products don't need people to like you to like it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
So
A good product doesn't need people
To
like
you,
you
the founder,
yes.
in order to like the product.
Exactly.
I
So
mean, I really hate Elon Musk right now, but I still use X. So
do you get?
Yeah.
So it's and that's it, right? Because you really can't help it, right?
Yeah.
And the meat pie I there was the other way around. People liking me in order to like the product. That almost never works, right? So it's about people building something so good.
You mentioned family and friends. I feel like that's what we do with family and friends. We just start something, right?
Yes.
Average product, right? Nothing polished, but we want our family and friends
To jump
buy
on it.
and jump on it and even spread itself.
Exactly.
And after they do it the first time, they might not come back the second time because the product is
If
not
it's not
good.
quality,
People
yes.
don't understand that family and friends can support it. Like I said, they bought the red meat pie the first day.
Yeah.
That didn't create success because success has to be something that they would have to
Reproduced
keep
over time.
coming back
Yes.
in order for that to create success. So family and friends would only shout about you if you're actually good. Like if the product is good to anybody and everybody, not just your family and friends, that's when family and friends will genuinely talk about you.
Okay, so I think probably the best way to go about it is to use family and friends as your test.
Validation to know
Rather
what
than-
excellence
yes,
is,
exactly.
and then create it to go back to the world, right?
Yes.
So exactly what I learned firsthand from Jesus 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So back to Calabar. There I got to Calabar, right? It was crazy. I spent 3 months pretending to be a student at Unical, sleeping in Unical classroom every night. And you can imagine,
dude got balls.
You can imagine all the way from where I was coming from down to not
Unical.
having shelter and
So that
just
was
sleeping
grace
in
to
classroom.
grass,
And I
back
was
to
literally,
grace.
and I literally, and I'm quite stubborn. So I literally promised myself that I was never going to go back home.
Okay.
Until I realized what I'm in Calabar to do.
Yeah.
Literally, I was never going to go back home. So the whole calls and the whole what's going on, I'm like, I'm fine. You need to see me laughing
On
on phone with my mom. Like, I'm like, Mom, everything is fine. God, like,
chilling.
life is, Calabar is cool.
We're chilling.
Calabar is just too nice.
And you
You
didn't
know,
have
and
anything
And I'm not
figured
even
out.
eating, I'm not eating for like almost 2 days, you know. So,
Wow.
yeah, so, because, and that's, it's like, I think that one of my strengths is grit, right?
Yeah.
When I want to do something, it can fall into the well. I will enter the well.
Yeah.
I will bring it out. I will polish it and I'll put it back up, right?
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't matter what I have to go through for that to happen,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, this is maybe part of what I learned from my dad as
Tenacity.
well.
Yeah, clearly.
I finally got job. I worked in Dangote. I worked in Nestle from there
Yeah.
as sales,
From
as a
sleeping
salesperson.
in campus classrooms.
Yeah. In fact, I got the Dangote job from a car wash. I was so hungry, I had to approach guys that wash cars. I'm like, see, I want to join you guys in washing cars. Just give me to wash one car and I'll take 200 naira and eat for the day and go home. That's just what I want, right? And they were like, oh, sure, so I couldn't drag cars with them. I told them, just help me, I really...
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And my accent was still so strong then. So they just know that this guy is not one of us.
Something up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy is not one
Yes.
of us, right?
And he needs help.
And he's really young and he needs help. I don't know where this guy, so they really just always give me one car a day.
So that's 19 years old
Yeah,
still.
yeah, 19 years old in Calabar.
Wow.
That's what I had to do
Wow.
to survive. I literally had to wash cars. And at the end of the day, I got a job in Nestle. I did it for 3 months.
So how did that come about? And what role was that?
Oh, somebody, my dad's friend in Aba had a boy that served him in Calabar. You know the Igbo trips,
Yes, the whole apprenticeship
yeah,
thing.
apprenticeship.
Yes,
So he had a
yes.
boy that served him that is now doing well in Calabar. So apparently the guy saw me. They were
I
like, wait,
recognize
are you
you.
not this person?
Small world.
And me, I was like, oh, yes, and I was like, damn it. I literally wanted to go to
I ran
somewhere.
away from you guys and you
You
came to
get-
find
'cause
me.
I didn't want to look like a disgrace to my dad,
Yes, I
right?
get
So
that,
I literally wanted to go somewhere I can just hug Gala and nobody will say, hello, are you not,
Yes.
Yeah,
DC Okoli.
you understand? So at the end of the day, I was like, okay, and he offered to give me a job, right?
Wow.
But then I did that for a while and something happened, something crazy.
So what role was it?
sales. Sales.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
It's an
So-
easy one to plug in.
Yeah, because literally.
hard, little or no qualification.
Yes, right. So from there, but I was doing well. But something happened
Of course
personally.
you do well.
You get
You
because my
sold me
energy
by that
then
was not great.
see, my energy then was like, because what meat pie already taught me was that people need value. So
Correct.
whatever I
Correct.
sold, I just sold value.
Exactly.
Right. And that really worked. Right.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, the guy, something happened, between the guy and someone, and the person is someone that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And well, the thing didn't go well. I decided to just resign. Right.
Okay.
From Nestle.
Yeah, regardless of, I wasn't thinking of where I was even going to sleep that night. When I resigned, I just
Wow.
It's something. What happened was way above my own principles, right? I decided that I wasn't going to put up with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just left. That's actually when I started washing cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
after
yeah,
Nestle.
Yeah. I
Okay,
started washing
okay,
cars.
okay.
Then after while washing cars, somebody came. I was going to church, right? So
Of course,
I
you have
was
to be close to God.
Yeah,
at this
I
stage.
mean, I was always
Come on, man.
following campus bus to church, to Winners Chapel.
If you're not close to God,
Do you
I
understand?
don't know how you will
Do you
survive.
understand? I was literally following them to Winners
Yeah.
Chapel, and then, I was joined ushering department.
Okay.
So the person that came to wash his car was a brother in usher. I never knew that he was actually a sales manager in Dangote. So that's literally how he was like, "What are you doing
Hope
here?"
we're taking
Yeah.
pointers.
Right.
So
And then-
join the community.
And then and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm washing cars." He was like, "You don't look like,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
sound
car
like,
washing
you don't sound, you
person.
don't look, what are your
Yes.
qualifications?" I'm like, "Oh, I can sell, I can drive, I know computer." Like, he was like, "I should come and see him in the morning." That morning, I was given a job, I was given an official car. Like, that was literally how.
Grass.
That's
Grace to grass
that
to
was literally
grace.
how.
It's because
that
of
was
Winners
literally how-
Chapel. Winners Chapel.
Shout out
That
to
was literally how my
Winners
story.
He was trained in the ushering department.
That was literally how my story in car wash and getting work in Dangote ended. But the sweet thing is this: is that Nestle is an FMCG.
Yes.
Dangote is an FMCG.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was introduced to the world of FMCG.
FMCG.
So even while my dad was in petroleum,
Okay.
FMCG became something I loved so much because I felt like I was solving people's problem. Like when I tell you to buy Maggi and use it to eat and tell me it was good.
It's great. Yeah.
I feel like I've achieved something. Coming from someone who people ate his meat pie. And you can clearly see that people are holding
red
it.
rich
You can
pie.
clearly see that people are holding it, but nobody has opened it to
They
eat
don't
it.
trust it.
Do you get? And now nobody came with feedback, right? And I can clearly see I was giving people value.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. So I decided to reach out to my bank manager friend.
Okay.
Moreover, I was saving some of my salaries, buying sub-distributor, Unilever sub-distributor, just
Yeah,
doing
to
some buying
test
some
goods.
sub-distributor.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So when I realized that the business was actually going well, I resigned from Dangote.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I
That's
decided
after how
to-
long?
I worked in Dangote for 1 year.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then, but I never took my eyes away from business.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
It's obvious,
It's
yeah.
in your DNA.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
regardless of how much you pay me, I was
Yeah.
like, I always see
can't-
problems that need to be solved.
Yes.
Can be solved better.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I am going to start my own spices business. I'm going to produce spices. I'll start from producing in China.
Spices.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Maggi,
Like cooking
like
spices.
the Maggi
Yeah,
cooking
yeah,
spices.
yeah.
I will start from producing in China and distributing, in Calabar.
Okay.
So I reached out to my bank manager friend who really thought that this guy is really good, right? So he introduced me to an Indian investor.
Okay.
Okay.
That was so that I should be around 21 then.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I raised 100 millionaire.
Wow.
At 21.
Yeah, of investment.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it comes as no surprise, to be honest, because
At 13,
already
you
at
were
13,
given
yeah, yeah,
1% of that
yeah.
to try out a
So-
disaster. But yeah.
I hope this one wasn't a disaster. But I mean, let's hear
Let's-
it.
hear it.
This was really great because unlike the fear my first experience, because there was this little bit of fear from my first experience, of course.
Yes.
This sold out in an unprecedented. Like I never expected it to sell out the way it did, because I have taken every precaution. Like I knew what I learned. I didn't want that to repeat again. I sent tests. I went to China. I bought samples. I gave it to people to try out. Like I was making sure, and that really worked. But the problem was that I raised that 100 million. I gave up 90% of the company to raise that money.
Ooh.
Right.
90% equity.
Yeah.
Oh my days.
Because again, I was 21 and I was not. Well, I mean, I was not really introduced to the world of
VC.
VC.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So literally.
Okay, so now I have to call that out, because I feel like that is literally predatory.
Exactly.
I don't
You took
know,
advantage of.
I don't know how
of
else.
your ignorance.
90% is too much.
I mean, it's. You can see it that way.
Yeah.
But the other way as well is that negotiation is about what you agree with someone.
Oh, absolutely. But of course, he took advantage of your.
I mean, we can see that way again.
Ignorance.
But I wasn't drunk when I was saying yes.
Oh yeah, but you did know.
No, my point is, I didn't even know that was a bad thing.
Yes, of course.
But then I still think that I agree to that deal.
Absolutely, yes. That's true.
Now I've learned better.
Yes, of course.
To be fair to the guy,
I really cannot push the responsibility to him.
Of course. Absolutely.
It would have worked if I said, oh no, 50-50, or even you take 1% for that money. Like it would have worked. But I just said yes. Right? Yeah. And because of that, when I realized what was going on, it wasn't even because of the 90-10. It was because of they started sending people from India to be the accountants, to be the
obviously.
So you get. So I realized that wait, I don't run this company.
Yeah.
And a lot of decisions that
were not,
of course,
in your purview.
Yes, so I felt like
1%.
So I felt like 10%.
Sorry, 10. Sorry, 90 or 10. Yeah.
So I felt like I wasn't needed here because. Literally, my hands are tied. Like, this is not my vision anymore.
Literally just selling.
Exactly. So I had to walk away. I had to walk away, and then I left to China. But something happened.
Okay.
During the test phase of that product.
Okay.
What happened was that I found it really difficult bringing in the sample from China.
Okay.
And at the airport, I was like, but this problem can be solved in this way and this way. This should have been very easier to.
How do you mean? You found it difficult bringing in the
samples?
Product,
the product.
They were too heavy. Well, how do you mean difficult?
The cartons of the product, like the days it took like 2-3 weeks.
Oh, so the process logistics.
Yeah, the entire logistics process took 3 weeks, and I was like, but why? This can literally enter the airline and just drop, and it's 24 hours from China. What do you mean? So
I think it's even worse now. It's even worse.
So that was how I got interested in supply chain, because I'm like, like what's going on? So when I now went back to China, I was really curious about going to Guangzhou to understand supply chain systems.
Okay.
Right. And that was literally my introduction to supply chain. Okay. And you can see how my introduction to what people eat, from spices, FMCG, got connected with supply chain, getting it to these people.
Yes.
So when we started Dropper, right, you can easily see why Dropper is actually about delivering value that people consume to them, because it's literally the story that I've
honestly
had to go
I'm
through.
actually seeing the red meat pie in all of
even
this.
the meat pie, literally you can order meat pie from Dropper app now.
Yes,
it's not red now, but
not red now.
Having too much baking powder.
Yes, and I look like it's healthy.
It's healthy.
Like, come on, we've got to
edible meat pie.
So literally, that's literally the journey of arriving at Dropper.
No, and it goes beyond saying that your journey, actually informs where you actually end up, the kind of people he met along the way,
absolutely,
the kind of experiences he gathered along the way.
Exactly, yeah.
That everything you're going through now is not a waste, basically.
Absolutely,
it will still inform where you're going to end up.
In your grass phase, be encouraged.
So it's all right if you are washing the cars right now.
Absolutely,
it's all right if you are just joining the community and getting to know folks, or it's all right if you are just starting that sales job.
Exactly.
Take into account all this, right? It will help you in the journey ahead.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is so good. I mean, we can go on and on, but
Absolutely.
I want to just dive down into the app now. It's a great app, right? And it's in a space that right now I don't know if there's so much confidence in, number one, the venture capital environment, and number two, the logistics environment. I don't know how confident that business model is right now. I hear a lot of stories from Jumia Food, and how they exited. I hear a lot of struggles from
Boat Food
Boat.
as well.
And just tell me how confident you are in the business model and in your ability to be able to finance this project
And
to get it
mitigate
to
all
where
the
it needs to be.
challenges.
Yeah. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
So first of all, is that success is a product of value, and what isn't often said is that success, it's also a product of this value being appreciated.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. So when it comes to Dropper initially was a product that was helping people send parcels from Lagos to Abuja, interstate and all that.
Okay.
But when we realized that we were giving value, but it wasn't appreciated,
Okay.
I would explain what I mean by appreciation, right? We thought to move into a value that we can give really well and it to be appreciated. And appreciation for me, it's when it boils down to unit economics.
Okay.
I mean, I've learned the hard way, obviously.
Very hard.
So I understand what unit economics is, right? And understand how important it is to business. Well, what we, especially in the tech space, like to do is to raise a lot of money and run on the money raised without really considering how far we'd need to pay that money back.
Correct. Correct.
But I think that the focus for us at Dropper is to make money from day one, even when we give excellent value. And this single thing is the reason why, if there is a need in this market, which there is obviously a need,
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
Yeah, it is.
absolutely.
Dropper would work.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because unlike the other products you've just mentioned, that seemed like they came to the market to test,
It seemed like they came.
because,
It seemed like a test because they pulled out real quick.
I mean, aside from the fact that they pulled out real quick, if you've used this product, you can also attest to it.
Yeah, the quality was.
That there was,
Yeah.
there needed to be more intentionality.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I mean. If you came to the market
Just to test.
just to
It's different
test,
from-
not necessarily just about testing, because the product could be screaming that you don't really want to make money. Because there is this idea that if you really want to make money from something, you have to
Put in your best.
it has to be excellent, right? And I feel like this is with all the food apps, all the food delivery apps in the country and grocery delivery apps currently in the country, I feel like none of them have been designed without a presumption of any food delivery app in US just for Nigerians. Just come into Nigeria, don't copy and paste an American product here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come into Nigeria and build something for the culture.
Yeah.
Right. Example, in the Dropper app, we have something called bulk foods.
Bulk foods.
Bulk meal, right? And the reason why we created bulk meal section was because we studied Nigerians and realized that a lot of people don't have time and they
Go
don't
to
want to
market
spend a lot
multiple
of
times.
money
Yes.
on logistics. So they rather just buy food in bulk
bulk.
and keep it in their
Yes.
fridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that rarely happens anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
But then we studied Nigerians and realized that happens. So we had to incorporate that way of life into the
Into
app,
the product.
right? Into the product, right? So that's exactly what Dropper is about. Dropper is about mirroring our currently existing culture. Right, and then building something centered around that, right, and then making money from that.
So speaking more into that space about understanding the dynamics of the environment that you are in, one of the factors that really I heard affect how profitable logistics companies can be would be the fuel. Would be the cost of fuel. And right now in Nigeria, it doesn't seem like it's going to come down.
It's just going up.
It's just going up.
It's
at best erratic, and at worst it's going up. I mean, Dropper is still going to be using these vehicles, these bikes, or these cars to deliver this food. Do you have any innovative, or there's something we are missing? Maybe if there's a secret sauce, don't tell us. But is there a way you are thinking around combating that issue of fuel?
Definitely. I mean, like you said, it might not be something we would want to see yet.
Yeah.
Of course.
But definitely that there has to be a way. There has to be. I don't think something should have such power anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. I don't think something should have such power in any business anymore. Right. Not just supply chain, but more so in supply chain. I don't think something should have.
Because that particular thing is a very.
It breaks businesses.
But the good thing about something like that is that whenever something has so much power, it means that it means that there's a solution somewhere.
Correct. Absolutely, correct, yes. Correct.
I just downloaded the app and I just signed up. It was very smooth.
Thank you.
Yeah, very smooth. The animations are lovely. It's a nice app. It's a nice app, you. And I'm really rooting for you guys. When did you launch exactly?
I know it
wasn't there.
It's been like just 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So. It's gonna drop. It's gonna drop real hard.
It's dropping.
It's gonna drop real hard, right? Have you raised any equity funding as of now?
Oh yes, we raised like some little money.
Nice. For somebody that raised 100 million naira.
Exactly, you say little money. I wonder what little means.
To be fair, I mean the focus right now it's not to raise a lot.
Okay.
The focus is like I said, I've learned a lot in the process.
Yeah.
The focus is
so that it runs by itself.
Yeah, because I see raising money as borrowing blood. Somehow, if you're borrowing blood, you need to first of all do quick to ensure that your heart starts pumping blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you get into that point where you always need people's blood, you're really living another person's life.
Yes.
You're living the life of someone else.
For some founders, raising money is revenue.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
They live on transfusion.
And the moment it is seen that way, it means that it is straight route to death. Like first of all, you never get to live your own life because you're dependent on how many people you can beg to give you blood, right? So I think the first focus for us is to raise enough to get our heart pumping.
Nice.
And the moment to get our heart pumping, how do we reward the people that give us blood to survive?
Amazing.
Right? So, I like that analogy because it shows a focus on the business, a focus on making the business sustainable, right? But also a focus on returning investor capital. So that's if every founder can adopt that kind of mentality, honestly, it will change the perspective.
Because I really wish I was able to make the 1 million at least back and give my dad, like that. This stuff happened. This happened, but
I'm pretty sure he's smiling at you right now.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of the numbers, what can you tell us? I know Dropper officially out there is in beta and it's only 2 weeks old. But what can you tell us about the numbers? What are the adoption rates looking like?
Beautiful.
What is your cost of acquisition looking like? What can you tell us around the app?
The cost of acquisition so far is it's really still beta, right?
Yes.
So family and friends, community and stuff.
Okay.
But I have a very amazing large community.
Okay.
So it might look a little bit further than just ordinary family and friends.
Yes.
But the adoption so far has been above 50%.
Wow.
Which means 50% of everyone who have downloaded this app so far have tried it once and are actually using it. In the 50%, about 30% have tried it more than once in the past 2 weeks.
Lovely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That's great.
I mean, so I know that you don't have these products, so so Dropper is like a link between the consumer and the
Supplier,
markets,
yes.
right? Something like that.
I love Dropper.
Okay.
And it's because it lets me hear and listen to people, the consumers, right? And it also helps me understand and give feedback to the producers.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's that's what Dropper is, right? The restaurants.
Okay,
to
restaurants.
The
Restaurants as well.
The
Okay.
supermarket. So the consumers.
How about the open markets?
The open market is coming.
Okay.
Yeah, there are more products coming. Like I said,
That's the bulk.
the goal of
buy.
Dropper, it's to be one reason why no one will have to leave their home. Because I mean, this is a new generation.
Yeah.
I've been married for almost a year now.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. And well, my wife have never gone to the market and I don't want her to go.
Okay. All right.
Right. I mean,
lucky.
she should just enjoy
I
her
see
life,
you're
right?
enjoying,
But then, I'm building a product to help solve that for her, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just about this new generation is not really that interested in going under the sun like our moms.
Yes.
They
It was
and
a thing
there's-
of pride to them,
Yes,
but
yeah.
for us, it's stress.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For them, it was a thing of like you cannot
Yes.
price the market.
It's like, who cares? Please get the ingredients to my table.
So things come with different generations.
Before you
And
cannot price
I
in the
think that
market.
Dropper
Oh,
is
please.
building
I don't have
the
energy.
new generation, the product for
The new generation.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
So
I
that they
love
don't
it.
get
I
to
love it. I
have
love
to
it.
force themselves to receive the same value from markets
Okay.
Yeah.
by having to go to the market. So it doesn't make sense.
So it's getdropper.com or just
The
Dropper?
website is getdropper.com,
Getdropper.
but I mean, it's a domain thing, right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
domain thing. So
Yes,
the actual
okay.
company is Dropper.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you tell us how you came about the name Dropper?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, the name Dropper is quite interesting because I kept coming up with names for this solution. I understood the solution before the name, and I kept coming up with names. And my best friend Edward, Eddie
Shout out
Bekwe.
to Edward.
Shout out to
Edward.
Eddie Bekwe, because Eddie Bekwe he's not just the person who helped me come up with this name. He actually is the designer of this logo.
Nice.
Ooh,
Right.
Okay.
So, we used to live together, and I would come up with a name. He's like, no, I came up with even a lot of crazy names. Then I slept. I was sleeping, and then
Rich Pie.
I had but I'm really good with names. Come on,
Rich Pie wasn't
I'm
a
really
bad
good with
name,
names. Like Rich
Yeah.
Pie is so cool. Like like come on. Like 2 years ago, I don't.
I think you should relaunch that product.
like 2 years ago, I went to see my mom. I didn't know she has packed everything with the branding, the fridge rebranded of Rich Pie. She kept it in one store, and she took me and told me that I should check this out. I'm like, what?
Wow.
This is my Rich Pie.
Rich Pie.
I love it.
So she started laughing, Well, so like Edward helped, I kept coming up with him, but I just went to bed. I was sleeping, and then the name Dropper came up, and I told Edward, I found the name. That's literally what I told him. The name is Dropper, because literally it has everything I want in that name, right?
Yeah.
We just want to drop it,
Yes.
and we want
Like
to
it's
drop
hot.
it.
Yeah.
We want to drop it like it's hot,
Yeah.
and we want to drop it perfectly, right? So that's why today, like one of the things I consider when we are making any decision when it comes to our supply chain in Dropper, it's will this make this product to be perfectly delivered?
Okay.
Perfect delivery, time, expected time, the
Quality.
packaging, quality, experience, everything. We want a perfect delivery, right? And that's that's essentially how Dropper and how that's how we come about.
Great.
That's so lovely. It's been an interesting conversation.
Wow.
And it's it's interesting that we've actually talked about different serious things, but it wasn't stiff and that serious. And there's a lot to pick from. Honestly, we need to do an extra shout out to your dad. Like, honestly,
Homie.
honestly,
That's my guy. That's my guy.
A lot of accolades.
Every day I'm like, I hope I'm making you proud.
Yeah.
You
I
are.
mean, I don't think I am enough.
You are.
Don't worry.
You are. You definitely are. You definitely are. All right. So we're going to the lightning round, and this is very simple. I'll ask you a series of questions, and you're meant to answer with just one sentence.
One sentence.
Yes, one sentence.
So think about it hard, then drop it like it's
Yes.
hot.
I mean, I always drop things.
Love it. Okay. So the first one is, what is something you are afraid of?
A sentence. Can I make a sentence?
Yes. A sentence. It can be a word. It's fine, but a sentence,
yeah.
yes.
I'm actually afraid of not knowing something, and then I get hurt by the not knowing it.
Yeah.
It can be a word. It's fine, but a sentence,
yeah.
yes.
I'm actually afraid of not knowing something, and then I get hurt by the not knowing it.
You're afraid of ignorance.
Essentially, I think the one thing about life is that it doesn't care if you're ignorant about something; it just gives it to you.
Gravity
Right.
doesn't care if you understand.
It drops you.
Regardless of the knowing if fire is hot or not.
Yeah.
The moment you get in contact with it,
That's it.
That's it, right? It will really pay you back. So this is why I study, so I don't get paid by my ignorance.
Yeah. Good one.
Deep.
Good one.
Okay, what's your favorite quote?
That we often suffer more in our mind than in person.
That we often suffer more in our mind than in person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Our mind is where the issue, where the thing is.
See,
It's very
is this
actually-
lightning round that is showing that you used to study?
Okay. You studied about it.
Oh my. Okay. All right. So, what's that one tool, right? Or resource on the internet or generally
Yeah.
that you recommend to people that you always
Personally
use that
or
helps?
with work?
You can give us both.
Yes, it can go both ways.
give us both.
Actually, yes.
Because so I can give two then. No longer.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
yes,
That's fine.
So personally, it's the word of God.
I mean,
It's the Bible.
you've always been stubborn, so
Fair enough. So, well, let's go that strong-willed.
Yes,
I like the
strong-willed.
way people have rephrased
Strong-willed.
being stubborn. Like, I mean, I've always been strong-willed.
Stubborn is stubborn. It's either using it for good or bad.
Do you get? So I mean, so personally, it's the Bible.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
The Bible, it's one tool
yeah.
that all principles are built upon.
Yeah.
And, I think that everyone should understand, read the Bible, not just to get closer to God, but to understand how life works and to understand how the earth works. So the Bible, to me, is like a manual. So, and when people say this is very easy. If you buy something complicated, you need to read the manual to see how you can put it together.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what the Bible is for me as well. It's like the manual.
put
So it
life
gets
together.
you closer to the manufacturer to understand his intent or her intent producing, the product. And it makes you understand the product better. So yeah, so with the Bible,
Well
I
said.
get to understand the word better. So that's
Okay.
personally speaking.
With respect to work.
With work, one tool. With work, I have a lot of tools.
Yeah, I suspected.
Just pick one.
I suspected, but
Just pick one.
you can only pick one.
To-do list app.
Okay. Which to-do list app? Which one?
Just the one on Apple.
Okay. The one
Okay,
on
so
iOS.
very simple, very.
I love simple things.
Yes.
Like you can see it on the app.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
things
Okay.
simple.
Great,
Beautiful. Thank you for that. All right, so I guess you probably have a bucket list of things that you want to do in life, right? You do. Okay. So share with us one of those things that you haven't done yet.
Just one.
Not the
I'm-
ones you've done, because
Yeah, I'm
you
glad I've
look
gotten
like you've
married.
done a lot. Huh?
I mean, I look like I've done a lot. Really, I've gotten married.
Okay.
I mean, I plan getting married at 25, but
Wow.
doing it a few years
Okay,
after,
well. Well, you started early, so it's
yeah, I've
understandable.
always wanted to get married. Trust me.
Oh.
Always, since 19.
Daddy, see your work.
Since 19.
Laura, right?
Yeah?
Laura.
No, Favor.
No,
Laura is my
Favor.
sister.
Laura is-
Favor is my
Favor.
wife.
Favor.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get married. I
Favor
fantasize
is
about who this person is. Sometimes I look at Favor, I'm like, it's me, you, or this one.
Wow.
We got love, oh. All these married people on this table is where we
Favor,
So it's
Favor,
me,
Favor, I'm
you.
looking at you.
It's
Favor,
been
I'm
you
looking
have
at
been
you right
waiting
now.
for all this while.
Favor.
Like the journey has been so
okay.
long.
Wow.
But it
And
was
it's-
worth it.
It's so interesting that there's that scripture that says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains
Obtains
favor.
Favor.
Like, no, the
Something
truth is
like
that all my
you
life has
literally
been
got
about
favor.
favor.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh.
Getting a Dangote
It
walking
shows.
car wash.
Oh.
Like, favor has been showing up so much so
Hey.
it showed up in
Yeah.
my wife. Doesn't make
Oh.
sense?
Yeah.
So,
It does. It does.
It just had to crown it up. I show for your
yeah.
wife. Okay.
But yeah, favor, right? I mean, I've gotten married. But one thing I want to do is to build a successful venture.
Great.
I believe in a righteous man keeping wealth for his children and children.
Yeah.
So one thing in my bucket list is to have droppers solve problems so much so that people would really have to use dropper
Yeah.
in order to solve their problem and give us reward for doing that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's really what's on my bucket list. right now.
Amazing. Okay. Before I go to the next question, are you looking at dropper going global?
I think that every Nigerian business should go global. I mean, maybe in the next podcast, I didn't necessarily talk about how I see the world,
Okay.
like the lens at which I see the world.
Yes.
But to cut that, to just give a glimpse of that,
Yeah.
I think that every Nigerian business doesn't have a choice
What to go global?
But to go global.
Yes.
Are you hearing? Your SME.
And when I mean
You don't have a
every, I mean every. Your Instagram business, I mean every. If people understand that people stay in one bedroom and build products and send it to the US from China, then they'll understand that when I mean every, I mean every. Chinese people just get it.
Yes.
I agree.
Amazing. So please don't look down on your
Don't
Instagram
dull,
business.
don't dull.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time
Regardless
to
of
drop it.
The plantain you're selling,
Yeah.
you just need to find a way
Exactly.
to make it go
Sell your
global.
plantain in White House.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think this would be our last question.
Okay.
Right. And that is, if you had access to a very huge billboard for one day, what content are you going to put on it?
Personally, your business. I need to always because
So what
No,
is-
this one should be
this
business.
one, take it general.
this
Okay,
one should be
general.
business.
Yes. No, so whichever one your
Okay,
heart
okay.
is swinging to
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, whether it's personal or business, that's
yeah.
fine. But we need only one.
Only one. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I wish you guys made this easier. Because I am very strong with my personal life as
Yeah,
I am with my business life.
Yeah.
So two things can start fighting each other in such questions
We know.
because
We know.
Yes, we understand. That's why we put you here.
It's not me. Oh.
wow, this is tough.
Yeah.
One billboard.
And one sentence.
And I
answer.
can't really divide this billboard to
You're such a businessman.
because I mean, if I can't have all, I can actually divide two.
No.
God.
Hi.
Yes, it's actually tough.
No.
It's tough because
No.
You know what? I think we're going to end it
The,
here
the
because
editor. No. The editor. Don't cut out this part. Oh. Show this part.
this is hard.
yeah, it's actually really hard.
Oh, wow.
I think
it's
the
harder
question
than I
itself
thought.
is hard because.
No, I have what to say.
Yeah.
For We're not sure which one to pick.
For the business and for my personal
No,
life.
No.
she already
And the
said
both
it.
of them, and you guys are not making it easy. If you
it's
tell me
not
no,
me. It's
if you
not
tell
me.
me let's make it business, if you tell
Oh,
me
no,
let's make
you're-
it business,
you're here.
of course we'll do that. But if you tell me let's make it,
Oh no,
Just
no.
one.
Just one. You have to pick one
Great.
for this episode.
it's all a quote.
And I quote-
Exactly.
But you know what? Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to do business. Yes.
Yeah.
if you want to know my personal life, come to me.
If Okay.
No, so
okay,
he's
I thought that was-
choosing-
choosing business so that
I was
I'm
wondering.
going to
That's a
conceal.
very interesting.
I'm going to conceal my personal life because they've not given me a chance to
No,
share
no,
with
they've
you
not given me a
guys.
chance.
Right? So it is. Please use dropper. Yes, use dropper. Try dropper
Why, please?
Yes.
because you just need to try it once.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just have to beg you to try it once. I don't think
Okay.
the second time I would really be saying please. It is DC,
Okay.
please, can you add this thing now?
That's
Like
interesting.
add this restaurant, add this one. It's you that would now be saying
Please.
add exactly.
It's you that
like
say please.
yes, but to begin, I beg.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an interesting perspective because
Yeah.
most people feel like coming with please is like you are begging people, but
No.
that's a very interesting perspective. So I beg you once, but you'll be the one to beg
Yeah, I mean,
afterwards.
people don't essentially see value until they've tried it.
Yeah.
Usually, you would say, "Don't enter fire, don't enter fire, don't enter fire." The best thing is just like saying, "Please don't enter fire."
Yeah.
Please, so that they'll, exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. DC.
Really lovely. So
Thank you
Thank you,
so
baby.
much for taking out the time to really educate us, on your
Yeah.
background and how it has influenced where you are today.
Yeah.
Already, I'm so confident that Dropper is going to be an amazing product.
absolutely.
Amen.
Because
Thank you.
the vision behind it is a strong one.
Yes,
It's
very.
the one based on principle,
Okay.
and is the one that is very, very clearly strategic.
Yes.
The goal is clear.
Yes.
The outcome is almost as crystal clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's obviously going global. So
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's too obvious.
it's obviously
I
going
mean,
global.
he said
Yeah.
you don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's
But
not like,
to go
it's not like
global.
I have a choice.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, DC.
Alright, yeah.
Thank
How
you so
can
much,
we
David.
connect with you on social media, on email? How can we connect? Because we have some listeners, young people who are going to be
Have been
inspired by
inspired,
your journey.
yes.
Yeah.
So how can they connect with you if they want to ask you a question, if they want to support you in any way? Just tell us.
Yeah, I'm really active on Twitter. This at DC Okoli. Just
At DC Okoli.
yes,
Yeah.
at DC Okoli. Yeah,
Great.
I'm really active on Twitter.
Okay.
So is there a discount that you can give our people? Because
Yes.
like I said, we have a lot of people that are ready to support you right now. So is there a discount that you can give us for getting
Yeah.
on Dropper and loading up our wallet?
Yes.
Okay, so when this podcast goes out, I get a code will be given
Okay.
for a 10% discount for the
Beautiful.
first.
Oh
users.
wow.
Beautiful,
Okay.
beautiful.
All right.
So
You've heard it from
Yeah.
Dropper himself.
from the CEO himself.
Yes. Okay.
DC, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you so much, David.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for your time.